Drew, I got to imagine, man, you got the NFL playoffs, NBA in the thick of it, and the Aussie Open. You're like a pig and you know what right now. This is your time to shine. So I know you could go for long times on the Aussie Open, but we do have a big weekend ahead of us on the NFL front. So let's start there. Instead of going game by game, what is your favorite angle to attack this weekend with these 6 games?
Okay, so I guess it's you're right. By the way, this is the best time of year, and the wild card weekend. Actually, these matchups are all absolutely incredible. The market's pretty sharp. There's not a lot that hasn't been kind of figured out about these teams to this point, obviously. So most of my card is pretty low conviction and a little bit contrarian. And definitely think that, the landscape of the playoff teams is a lot flatter than the market makes it right now after the 1 seeds who are true blue, proven commodities and have, full strength and health. But if I could only have one side, I would take the Packers still at 7. I see very, very little difference here between the Packers and the Cowboys in terms of offensive strength. People have kind of keyed on the fact that the Cowboys are going to run amok in the middle of the field in the passing game, and CeeDee Lamb's going to be pretty unstoppable against this Packers pass defense, which is a joke. And I acknowledge that, but I would say that the Packers should have great success against this Cowboys unit as well. Their pass protection is phenomenal. And I would expect that you're going to have opportunities here with, the way Matt LaFleur is coaching and scheming and sequencing plays. He is on an absolute heater. Jordan Love is performing at a top 5 level among all quarterbacks right now. And so this, I think, will come down to special teams and kind of end of game decision making in terms of who will win, let alone cover. So there's, of course, a backdoor opportunity for the Packers here in comeback mode if they can neutralize the pass rush. So a lot of reasons to like Packers at +7, and sprinkled some money line in a bunch of kind of exotics as well. So go Pack, go for me, and would. Honestly, as I have Cowboys futures equity, so it's going to be sad to see them go, but it would be more beneficial for me and my portfolio at this point for the Packers to move on and head to San Francisco next week.
All right, Drew, I want to get your thoughts on something that I've been hanging on to here. And you mentioned, right, the fact that we kind of know who these teams are. And I agree with all of that, but I'm surprised by the market saying, you know what? When Cleveland played Houston a couple of weeks back, they were 3-point favorites on the road with Case Keenum and long-necked Davis Mills. Now it's C.J. Stroud, and it's 2.5-2. What am I missing here? I think the difference between those two and C.J. Stroud is greater than half a point.
Yeah, Texans would be my second favorite side. I'm in full agreement with you here. There seems to be a premium right now on teams facing young quarterbacks making their first playoff start. This is obviously not an angle that's not well understood and well covered. I think it's generally a pretty successful angle to fade the playoff debutantes because a lot of guys who, make it into this level make it to the playoffs for their first time, they're not battle tested. They haven't proven they can get it done in the crucible of pressure that is the NFL playoffs. But CJ Stroud is not that guy at all. He absolutely has proven it. You look at the way he performed against Georgia, which was his toughest test in college last year. He was superlative in that game in the college football playoff semifinals. And then last week against the Colts, even though his coach and offensive coordinator put him, in a bit of a box in terms of really, letting him go, he was, at a 95th percentile level in terms of quarterback performance in that game against the Colts. That was a must-win game. That was effectively a same type of environment, and it was on the road. Now he's at home. He's against the Browns team that I think if you want to upgrade the Browns strictly on the idea that they effectively treated week 18 as a bye, so they're coming in with a little bit extra rest. Okay, that's fine. But I think what Houston has done well this year offensively is really protect the quarterback with some of their kind of a little bit of quarterback friendly scheme in the context of getting the ball out of his hands quickly and really preventing pressure from becoming a factor, even when they had a ton of injuries on the offensive line in the early part of the season here. So without the advantage of kind of the home crowd, the Cleveland pass rush should be a bit neutralized here, and that should allow C.J. Stroud to do some damage down the field. And I mean, I get it. Like, the story about Joe Flacco is cool. It's fun. It's wild that he was on the couch and now he's in the playoffs, and it's a wonderful tale, but at the same time, like, he's still Joe Flacco, and he still puts up a ton of balls that are 50-50. And if the Texans can come down with a couple of those, then I think we could be on our way to Texans-Baltimore next round, which would be a ton of fun.
I'm for that. That was my bet. I am on the Texans. I was hoping to get 3. I know there were early 3s, Drew. I did not get the 3. Took 2.5. So let's go Texans. Let's take care of business, and let's get rid of the 17-35-1 trend for, as you said so eloquently, debutantes in there to start there. Maybe think about horse racing. Drew Dinsick joining us here at Whale_Capper. Let's go to Sunday night, Drew, because everybody, Stafford's returning to Detroit. And, as you kind of lick your finger, put it up in the air, not a lot of Lions love this week, which is funny because that has been such a public team since they played on Hard Knocks. And now the Rams have kind of taken, as we said in the opening segment, a little bit of the NFC's Browns feel like, hey, they're this team that, maybe they could be pesky there. What do your numbers say on Rams and Lions, with the Lions now laying 3 at home on Sunday night?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you've heard this, but no one wants to play the Rams right now. No, I think this is a great matchup. Again, not a ton of margin between these two teams. My numbers make this just a hair under 3. And the money line, my fair money line would be Rams plus 125. So I do see more value in the Rams money line than plus 3. But I think there's a better angle to bet this one, and it's under 51.5. People kind of look at these two offenses, look at these two quarterbacks, look at the offensive weapons in this game, and they're just kind of like, whoa, yeah, we're in for a high scoring affair here. But there's kind of 2 factors that I want to point out that I think could lead, point in the direction of like a game that should land in the high 40s, not in the 50s. The first is, the Lions are going to be a little bit limited in their red zone efficiency because of the injury to Sam Laporta. Now it looks like he's actually trending in, which is an absolute shocker to me. I thought with the injury he sustained last week, he was going to miss this week almost certainly. But still, with any kind of limited mobility, his ability to be sort of the game breaker in the red zone could hurt the Lions in terms of scoring touchdowns here. And I think both teams are extremely effective on the ground and would like to lean into the rushing attack to play a little bit of ball control here and keep their defenses on the sideline. You have Aaron Donald, who almost certainly can create interior pressure on Jared Goff, which should limit the Lions' ability to play comeback if the Rams can take a lead. And you have a Rams team that has one of the worst special teams in the NFL and a kicker who can't make extra points, let alone high leverage field goals. So this one could have a lot of kind of has the whiffs of a little bit of a clunkier kind of an outcome here. And I think ultimately under 51.5 is the best total to bet this week as we look at the whole board.
Preaching to the choir. That's where I'm at too.
Man, all right, Drew's hitting all the notes tonight, man.
Last 60 seconds, Drew. Give us the thought on what I think is a real weather game, right? Obviously, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and what you're seeing here with 9.5 and a total floating around 33.
Yeah, I took some shots on Pittsburgh. This has chaos written all over it. Obviously, a correlated side and total, which is interesting to keep an eye on, because if it's surprise, it's actually blue skies. This could be Bills over. If it happens to be a funky, terrible weather game, then I like the Steelers a lot here. I like the under. Really, I think the Steelers can lean on their off-tackle rushing attack. The zone blocking and the outside rush that the Steelers have going on right now is just awesome, and that is the one thing the Buffalo Bills have not been able to solve. So as good as their defense has been of late, that is where you want to hit them. I think the Steelers can do it. I think this should be closer to a 7-point spread.
All right, Drew, 20 seconds. Give us one Aussie Open hot take.
Riding the young Italian Jannik Sinner at this tournament. He's got a nice draw second quarter. He's going to face Djokovic in the semifinals. He beat Djokovic in a super high leverage match at the end of last year that really kind of cemented his intestinal fortitude. Most everybody's looking at Djokovic and Alcaraz here for this tournament, but I think Sinner's going to spoil the party.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.